I'm glad we got to air that. The Phillies end-of-season press conference, Dave Dombrowski and then Rob Thomson. All right, so we quickly got to react to Dombrowski before Topper went up there. Here's my biggest takeaway from this, okay? It just feels like that press conference from the Phillies did not make me feel much better about where they're going into the future, that they're going to reshape this thing. It felt like a shrug of the shoulders, like, hey, we built a good team, didn't work, we tried, and we'll go at it next year. Now, part of it, and I acknowledge this, I think we all have to, the GM's not going to publicly say, I'm getting rid of this player, I'm getting rid of that player, I'm going after Juan Soto. He's not going to tip his hand to every agent and every GM in baseball. I understand that. But I hope the Phillies don't really believe that a couple of off-season tweaks can change 30-something players. Like Trey Turner and Nick Castellanos, the players at their age don't suddenly change their profile. They could have a better year, but they don't suddenly change. That didn't fly for me because it's just probably not going to happen. The other thing I think was interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about, Hugh, is the idea that Topper seemed open to moving Schwarber out of the leadoff spot.
Yeah, that's going to be something that's going to make a lot of people happy because that's been not so much this year, but it's somewhat of a hot button topic.
Well, then I say this: they better find a leadoff hitter because I don't think they have one on this team. They could wish and hope and pray on Trey Turner and Bryce's stop, but I don't know. So, Hugh, what was your big takeaway from all that? Dombrowski, then Topper, just felt to me like the best way I could describe it was a shrug of the shoulders. Like, hey, we tried. Austin Hayes got sick. We didn't play him well 4 games against the Mets. We'll get him next year.
It felt to me like there were going to be some changes made, but they were trying to explain. I think, to be honest, Joe, they were as forthcoming as they could be under the time frame allotted. You know, the one thing that Dombrowski did immediately was let everybody know the manager and the staff was going to be here.
And Turner's the shortstop still. That he made sure to say. And I thought the questions were fair. And I thought Dombrowski did not love that I believe it was Tim Kelly asking the questions, had the numbers to back up Trey's performance so far at shortstop, which obviously hasn't been good.
Try to double talk about whatever.
Yeah.
But I felt in the short period of time, because I'm listening to that press conference, and I'm like, okay, they're still processing and probably going through everything, they're auditing everything from the season. So they don't want to alienate anybody. They don't want to talk ill about somebody because they're still auditing where they think they need to get better. Because he was talking glowing about everybody. And let's be honest, everybody didn't need to be talked glowingly about.
I agree.
Especially down the stretch.
It makes me think they're going to trade 1 or 2 of these guys, and they want to keep leverage.
And Topper was doing the same thing. Like, he's talking in a way where he knows nothing's zero-sum. So they haven't I would venture to say they haven't even talked to any of the players yet, for the most part.
Well, they did say Taiwan because they gave him a plan to get ready.
Yeah, with him, because he factors probably into the future. Everybody else is probably a conversation that needs to be had. It's tough because I know as fans, we want answers immediately. But I feel like there were no answers to give right now because the first thing they want to do, because the first conversation we had last week was, what are we going to do with the manager? That was a hot button topic, whether or not you're going to fire Topper.
And they took care of that right away.
They took care of that right away. So now this team, I cannot believe that this team is going to be the same next year. The fact that he was even a little bit more forthcoming about Schwarber hitting in first and leading off hitter and how that might evolve. That's a conversation that's fluid. That's a conversation that's being had, Joe, in my opinion.
Yeah, I understand that baseball people are trained to think big picture because it's such a long season. I would have liked to hear a little bit more of, we didn't meet our goal. It's very disappointing. Like, that we have a good club. We ran into a hot team. There was a conversation in the last few minutes of that baseball playoffs are just random. Well, then don't talk about World Series or bust if it's just random. It just, that fell on deaf ears for me. I get it. I recognize it is hard to win. But that's your job. Like, the Phillies aren't the little engine that could. The owner spends a lot of money for the express goal of winning the World Series. And what I got from those two today was, we tried. What are you going to do? I mean, like, that's... I was hoping to hear a little bit more. We're very disappointed. We didn't reach our goal. We will do everything this offseason to get over that hump. Instead, I heard of, we were good in the first half.
You can't do that.
No, there was. It felt like an hour and 15 minutes shrug of the shoulders. Yeah. Like, what do you want us to do? We traded for Austin Hayes. He got sick. Okay, maybe that was the wrong player to trade for.
He had a tummy ache.
Yeah, he was. I mean, we all know he got sick. Yeah, it's just I didn't love that.
You needed more.
Well, I wanted to get the sense that they feel urgency to move this forward, and I didn't get that sense.
Well, what I got from it is that they feel that, like, as fans, we feel like the window is closing because guys are getting older. They don't feel that way. They feel like they have a good mix of young guys and older players, that their window is open for a couple more years, a few more years, as a matter of fact. And they were talking about guys in the pipeline and potentially being ready to come up and everything. They feel like they have an extended window.
215-592-9494 for your reaction to Dombrowski and Topper press conferences. Topper, if you missed it, extended through 2026. He is here. He's the manager next season. Let's go to the phones here. We got Ross Hart coming up in a little bit. Of course, reaction to Sirianni as well. It's been a wild week here. Chuck in Warminster. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Joe, I always tell you you're a good baseball man, and you are, and I agree with everything you said. And Douglas, let me tell you something. You've been to the mountain. Anybody calls it about football, they cannot disagree with you, Ike Reese, or Richie, John Ritchie.
But they do every day, and I'm okay with that.
Well, you just be comfortable and we know who you are. Now, I got a question at you. I want you in on this, too. Joe, let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
I love Bryce Harper, and I think he did a great job. But I never heard you guys comment on something, and maybe I missed it, and I can't listen to you all the time. When Bryce Harper and Joe, you and I both were in agreement they got to get rid of that kid playing first base. And they sent him to Milwaukee, which I was glad. But I never heard a active player, while the season's going on, saying, I want to play first base. He's actually cut that kid's throat. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you're talking about 2 years ago when Bryce made the switch?
Last year. I'm talking about last year, not 2 years ago, Joe.
Well, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
2 seasons. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
No, 1.5 seasons in the middle of the year.
The middle of 2023 when he came back and he said, I'll go to first base, right?
No, he said, I want to go to first base.
Well, so let's if we unpack that, Hoskins was out for the season. So that was an in-the-moment for that season thing. I didn't have a problem with that. Chuck, the issue became when he wanted to stay at first base because that cut Hoskins out of here.
Well, that's what in other words, I've never heard that during a season where a player would say that to kick the guy to the curb. And did you guys ever comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was for it in the middle of the season because I thought it helped them, Chuck. But once we got to the offseason and he wanted to stay at first base, he basically kicked Hoskins out of here. I mean, that's what happened.
I didn't see it that way, but that's kind of how it went down, yeah.
All right, look, let me close by saying this. You're both going to heaven. See you later.
Chuck, appreciate that. What?
Appreciate you.
Nicer
There's just no way.
There's no way that's going to happen, not both of us.
I'd say probably not. But you know what? That's a nice close to a phone call.
It is. We don't get too many of those. We get, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's usually.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'll get that a lot.
Let's talk to who we got here. We got Terrence in Springfield. What's up, Terrence?
Huge Joe, Kyle, what's up, man?
Hey, Terrence.
Man, you know what's nice up? That press conference from Dave Dombrowski. He said a bunch of crap. Pretty much, we're running it back. Pretty much, like the Sixers were doing.
Basically,
man, I didn't hear nothing about, like you were saying, Joe. We had a disappointing season. This has been year after year. Our batters have to make different adjustments. I don't want to hear we have good players. We have good superstars. A short game. I'm tired of hearing this 3-game series crap. Guess what? The better team still has to win the 3-game series. Am I right?
Yeah, if they perform better. Yeah, exactly like that.
I don't want to hear about that 3-game series crap. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. I like. I heard him say Chase Turner. Did you guys hear that? He called him Chase Turner, and he made a mistake. Well, he's right. This whole lineup it chases every season, every playoffs. They choke every playoffs. I didn't hear him say like this whole thing is running like a preschool. Let's bring Topper back for one more year, and what for the same result? I'm tired of this stuff. The Philadelphia fans are tired of this, and sooner or later they're going to lose the fans are going to lose the fans. I'm telling you that now. As for Sirianni, for this joke of a coach, he's another one that run like a daycare, like a high school. The players telling this guy to act how you want. No, you know what you do. Even if you're winning baseball, even if you're winning, you don't do that. You know, you have some kind of respect for the fans. You guys look like a joke on the field. Offensive defense, they can't even get a touchdown in the first quarter since last year. And you're telling this guy to act like that? Sirianni, you're a joke. Get together. That apology was a half apology you had on ESPN. Man, Get this guy out of here, please.
Terrence, good phone call, man. We appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot to react to here after that Phillies press conference and, of course, the Nick Sirianni stuff. Are you okay with Sirianni acting the way he does if the players are? 215-592-9494. That is how you hop aboard. We'll get to everyone's phone call here. We got a lot to get to the rest of the show. All your reaction to Sirianni and what you took away from the press conference there with the Phillies with Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thomson. That's the next along with Ross Tucker. Sports Radio 94 WIP.